it's not heaven and hell. It's not good and evil. It's rather order and chaos. These are two opposing ideals that control a lot of the concepts and stories around Greek gods and Greek myths and Greek culture society at the time. Order versus chaos. And when you view these stories through that lens, where there is no, the gods are good and humans are bad, or humans are bad and the gods, or humans are good, gods are bad, it's never that black and white. Christianity, Abrahamic religions, they really try to purify this concept of good versus evil. That doesn't exist in Greek mythology, which I find it to be so much more interesting. Okay, yes, everything in the Bible has a lesson they're trying to teach you and whatever. Sure, the point of religion is to be a moral guidepost, signpost for how you should live your life, according to what religion you subscribe to, okay? Greek myths, I think, are interesting and they're fun to learn about because what's the fucking point? What's the point? It's just, yeah, this shit happened. Wasn't that crazy? Yeah, so. And I think some people can try to find meaning or lessons to take away from some of these stories of, maybe greed, like the story of Icarus and pride and whatever. Like, yes, these things are there and you can have interpretations, but this is my hot take. I think a lot of the Greek myths are just for entertainment. Especially when you think about Greek playwrights and whatever, not everything has to have a mission statement or a takeaway. Sometimes it's just entertainment for entertainment's sake. So very, very interesting in that regard. I recently learned about all of this and how the concept of a bacchanal has influenced a lot of media and a lot of, there's this, I think there exists a thin veil between ordered human society and outright chaos. Ungovernable chaos. And there are systems in place like shame and certain behavioral rewards of being and living in an organized society and, holding each other accountable and things like the tragedy of the commons and whatever, where the benefits of community are so plentiful that you do want to hold yourself and your fellow community members accountable for certain things like law and order. However, every single human right under the surface has chaos brewing, and it is a concerted effort to keep that chaos at bay. So when you start reading stories, and especially Greek mythology through that lens, oh my God, that's been my fixation of the week. I'm very fascinated by this idea of order versus chaos and how thin, truly how thin the veil is between the two. Because the gap between good and evil is so vast, it's so wide. It's easier to say, this is good, that's bad. This is a good person, that's a bad person. Heaven and hell, the line is so stark. And I say that with an asterisk, of course, because religion is a gray area and whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. Order and chaos, very, very, very thin. It is the flood is barely being kept at bay.